countries that are impossible to invade. Today we'll be counting down our picks for the top 6 countries that are most impossible to invade. Number 7. Israel. Israel is like a country who is not liked by many surrounding states, so it decided to be tough instead of being a crybaby. Israel has been in 8 wars in its 69-year history and has not lost one. Though it has a small army of 176,000 troops. It is mandatory for their populace to train and serve in the army, women for 24 months and men for 36 months. This means that another 1.5 million of its population is trained for warfare, and the state could call them at the hours of need. Israel has also developed one of the best missile defense in the world called the Iron Dome. It's a crazy defense system where they shoot the enemy's missiles out of the sky with their own missiles. It sounds insane, but this defense mechanism has successfully brought down 90% of the enemy missiles before they reach their targets. Number 6. North Korea. One must only look at the results of the Korean War to know that a successful invasion of the Hermit Kingdom would be an extremely difficult task to achieve. Brutal terrain, an extensive and far-reaching defense system, and the ever-present threat of nuclear weapons are just some of the reasons invading North Korea is practically impossible. Tack on the fact that they have one of the largest active militaries in the world, at about 1.2 million soldiers, with a staggering 6.3 million in reserve, and you have a country that appears poised to keep itself safe for the foreseeable future. Number 5. Iran. Invading Iran is a terrible idea. Period. Oh, you want reasons? Okay, for starters, they have over 500,000 active military personnel, more than 1,600 tanks and a fleet of submarines at their disposal. Still not deterred? How about the fact that Iran is covered in mountains and peppered with scorching hot deserts just waiting to trip up an army of would-be invaders? No? Well, Iran also controls 12.9% of the Middle East's oil exports, which means an invasion would significantly mess up the international flow of oil, effectively destabilizing the global economy. If you still feel like invading, we have one word for you: masochism. Number 4. Australia. Australia ranks high on our list thanks to a number of extenuating factors. For starters, the mainland of the country is surrounded by water and located in the southern hemisphere more than 4,000 miles away from the closest country on this list. Second, 98% of the country's population lives along the coast, which means much of the country is just vast swaths of desert, loaded with unforgiving terrain and deadly creatures waiting to ambush inexperienced foreign invaders. However, Australia isn't entirely reliant on its terrain. The country has a defense budget in the billions and a military of roughly 81,000. Much like neighboring New Zealand island nation, an invasion of the land down under would give the home team a distinct advantage. Number 3. China. Since the 1990s, China has slowly but surely increased its military strength, and it is now firmly cemented as a global military power. They've achieved this status thanks to their enormous army, which consists of more than 2.3 million people, an additional 2.3 million reserves, and a defense budget that comes in second behind only the USA at $145.8 billion and $215.7 billion a year. They also rank second in tank power with 9,150, first in aircraft power with 3,720, and among the top 3 in submarines. If that doesn't scare you, consider this: China has a population of more than 1.3 billion people. That's more than every other country on this list combined. Good luck convincing them who's in charge. Number 2. Russia. How do we even begin to discuss Russia's impenetrability? For hundreds of years, the country's brutal winters have driven back everyone from Napoleon to Hitler. However, even if their armies had succeeded, there is no way they could have ever maintained control of Russia's 6.6 million square miles of sparsely populated and unforgiving terrain. Nowadays, Russia boasts an equally fearsome defense, highlighted by the largest tank force on Earth, and an army of up to 1 million active soldiers and 2 million reserves. If you're planning on invading Russia, we have only one question for you: why? Number 1. USA. The United States is by far the hardest nation to invade. Setting aside their population of over 325 million people, many of whom take the Second Amendment quite seriously, and the country's varied, often merciless terrain, their biggest advantage is a financial one. America's military budget comes in at a whopping $520 billion or more. So what does that buy them exactly? How about military bases all over the world, a massive fleet of aircrafts, and about 10 more aircraft carriers than the next closest country? Add 1.3 million active military personnel, more than 800,000 reserves, and over 4,000 unretired nukes, and you have a country that is constantly saying, "Go ahead, make my day."